Hi guys, welcome to Operation Crypto. In this video we're going to take a look at 3 projects which I believe are going to perform well within the next quarter, and that's starting off next month. I think that September has historically been that bad month where everyone's thinking, right, definitely time to sell, but definitely time to buy now in my opinion. I always think that September, whenever you see the price dropping, it's a great time to buy. You get those cheap orders filled fairly easy. So like I say, we'll look at 3 projects which I believe are at great levels now, and I think that going over the course of the next quarter are really going to provide some huge gains. If you're new to this channel, please make sure that you are subscribed, hit that like button, and let's crack on. So starting off, I'm going to start off with one of the biggest caps around, and I think this one is going to perform extremely well over the course of the next 3 months. And beyond that, I think like now, we are sub $50 still, and I think this is an absolute epic project. So this is Polkadot. This is, we'll just drop to the daily time frame. Polkadot Tether daily time frame. I'm using a Binance chart here. Previously, we have been up to $49.89. If you ever watch my channel, I always say do not sell on a round number. I presume a lot of people would have been looking for sales at 50 bucks there. Didn't quite make it, did we? So just a top tip there. Never sell on a round number. Always look to just drop it a little bit below. Otherwise, you will get front run. So Polkadot for me, I think this is still early. We've got lots of things to come. The blockchain itself is working an absolute dream. You never get any issues fired out. And there's a lot getting built on it now. We've got parachain auctions coming up. There's a lot of products which I'm very interested in. There's Ternoa, there's Akala. There's so many good things that are coming from Polkadot over the course of the next 3 months. Ultimately, this will boost the ecosystem, and that will be a driving factor in a price rising over the course of the next quarter, and like I say, going into the future. But what I'm going to do is just have a look at a few key buy zones where we could look at buying now before this major pump just start looking, and then we'll have a look at a few price predictions. So looking at this region here, this green band, $26 has been a key area for Polkadot. If you look in the past, we've had to support here, we'll just mark them up. So you support level, support again, then rejection twice, use it as support here, and use it as support again 3 or 4 times. So for me, it's a key area, and we've bounced off that so far nicely. And if you just have a bit of a zoom in terms of, look at that for a daily candle yesterday, that was an absolute monster. In terms of a rise from the bottom there to the top, so far, from that dump, we made a 28% recovery, which is great to see. But we just need to have a look for some buy zones, and I mean, these candles could be short-lived, so we just need to be wary that we could get sold into. And for that, we'll just have a look at this latest region here. What I would do, I would have a couple of cheeky buy zones still down towards this $26 region, just in case it did drop. But for me, I think this is the start of the next move. So let's just have a look what could potentially go on over the next few months. But in terms of buy zones, I would look at targeting here $29 or even $30. I think $30 could be a nice area of support. As you can see, we rejected off it a few times there, and I think that was a good chance that we come down, pick up some orders here around $30, and then start to break up. But remember, if Bitcoin does start to have another wobble, because I mean currently it's doing well, it's up at 44k. There's always that possibility that it does drop, and if it did, then there's always that possibility we could come down and test this tonight at $28, and then we've got this entire green band here around $25, $26. So if you're looking for some orders and you're willing to be a little bit patient, place some here, and it could be a nice area for us to potentially pick up some dots. But if you're just thinking, right, Andy, I'm bullish on this asset too, just buy around here, around $29. But for me, like I say, anything under $30 is an absolute steal. We're currently at 31. There's a good chance we may come back down and tap 30 like we've done here. We've already done it once, actually. If you look at this wick here, we pushed the upside, come back down, retested $30, and then broke up again on the lower time frame. So that for me still looks good. Looking at a couple of things though, if we just have a look down here, our site is still around mid-ground, so it's 54%, so it just shows we've got a lot of room to grow above it, so there's no sign of a sell there. But looking at a money flow indicator, it's actually been in the red for a while. Let's have a look at the daily, actually. Yeah, we're in green positive territory, so that's what I'm looking for. We have been trading in positive territory for a while now, so things are looking good. On the lower time frames, it was looking a little bit nasty, but for me, money flow is in the green. That means there's more buys coming in than sells, and that is positive for price action. So that is your buy zones there, which I've identified with all these lines everywhere. But $30 I think is a support. If the price did drop, and then there's always that possibility that it could come back down to this area support down here. But what I want to do is just fire a little price prediction in here, and we'll, in terms of Fibonacci levels, I'm a massive fan of a fib. If you look at this entire move from the all-time highs there to this low that we got down here, we've had a nice bounce so far, but we kind of look at some extensions above. Usually a great area to aim for is this 2.272 region. There's massive confluence with price predictions on that, and that's at $100. But for me, I honestly think that this is going to go way above, and I'm looking up at these levels anywhere between 193 to 273, and that's on this cycle. I mean, you might think, Andy, not a chance that's going to happen, but for me, I think it's definitely a good possibility. That's 700% up to there, and then we've got a further 500% up to the 4.618 at 193. So for me, that is my price predictions for this cycle, between 193 and 273, anywhere in between there, and I will be happy. And in the future, I honestly think it can outperform that as well. This is a multi-billion, if not a trillion-dollar company at some stage, and we are still in the early days of this. Like I say, once all them projects start getting into the ecosystem, it's going to look great. So that's the first project and the highest cap I will be covering on this video. The next project, which I do believe is now a great value for money, which it's very new and there's got a lot coming up, is METAHERO, which is ticker Hero. We've had a bit of a sell-off recently, but nothing to worry about. The entire market has done that. I'm on Dex Tools here. It's not actually on any major exchange yet, which is also a good sign as well, because not many people know about it. I mean, we have seen some obviously significant price action, but it's brand new. I mean, we got released on the 6th of July and we're still in September, so it is brand new. A lot of things coming up for this. So what they have is a physical scanner. It's a 3D scanner, which it scans images, people, anything you want, you put into this scanner and it can turn it into a 3D real life NFT. That can be used by anybody. The company they're working with, which is Wolf Digital World, they have now signed a massive partnership with Sony. So this is Sony's first step into a crypto sphere, and I think this is going to be absolutely monumental again. I can't not use that word enough times. So we'll have a look at some price analysis here. But like I say, if you're wanting to buy PancakeSwap, it is also on gate.io. It's not a bad exchange to use, to be honest, so go ahead and check it out. And there's a few other exchanges which have been listed without Teams Authority, but that's nothing to worry about here. So if we just have a dive straight into the charts, we'll make it a little bit bigger. We've had a great rise. I mean, from the 30th of August, bang, straight up. September's supposed to be the month for the bears, but this, I mean, it only had a little pullback at some stage. If you look at price change from the top there, we're up to 13.6 cent, dropped all the way down to 7.9 cent, 8 cent-ish there. So we dropped 42%, but nothing to worry about. Things are starting to look good. Like I say, they will be unveiling their new V3 Meta Scanner at the Dubai Blockchain Conference, and for me, I think it's going to be massive. I think this thing has around 500 cameras or something like that. It just takes images of pictures instantly. Whereas for nowadays, if you're looking to take a 3D image, it takes a long time. This machine and this software that it built takes a picture within between 1 and 120 seconds, uploads it online, and then you have a 3D NFT. Gaming companies are looking for this. For example, FIFA. When a player is designed on FIFA, it takes the gaming company, EA Sports, around 600 hours to build one picture for that game. METAHERO can do that in 120 seconds. So this, for me, could be a game changer, and it's going to be absolutely massive. And we are still early. It's 10 cents. It is so low valued, it is crazy. So if you're looking for some buys, I mean, personally, I will be buying anything at 10 cents. But if you want to just have a look at a few key areas where you could potentially buy and have a look at this latest move, you'll have to forgive this Fibonacci that's going to come on, because I've not used this before and it's going to look like a rainbow. But if you look at this region here, oh, you can't see it, can you? Double click that. Let's change it to white. There we go. So looking at all these levels here, I mean, if you're looking for some buys, I wouldn't go too much in depth with this, but you can look at targeting a few key levels. So we have got, where's my box? This region here around 9.5 cent could be a decent area. And like I say, I would always look at target that 618 level down at 8.9 cents. So if you're looking for some buys and you're willing to wait a little bit, see what the market does. See if you can get that rejection down to these levels, pick some up and then push on. But for me, like I say, anything around that 10 cent region is a solid buy, considering the amount of news that's coming up with these projects. Also, they're getting listed on Conga Exchange, which is a brand new exchange on the Tencent Gems platform. Also, a tier 1 exchange is up and coming. There's been Rob Grinn's been mentioning Binance a bit, but I think it's still too early for that. And I think it could be KuCoin, to be honest. So whichever tier 1 exchange it is, it's going to be great for a project. Currently, the tokenomics has a burn rate in place where whenever you buy and sell, there was a 5% tax on each side, but that is now getting wiped off, and they're doing a $10 million airdrop, and that's happening on the 30th of this month. So if you manage to get some Hero, you need 5,000 Hero, hold them in a private wallet, not on the exchange. Towards the end of this month, there will be a massive $10 million airdrop. So I think it's definitely worth being in it for that. I'm not going to look too far into price analysis or price predictions for this, because I think this, honestly, I think it's $1 plus at some stage. It's 10 cent now. It's only a 10x on there. So I'm holding on tight, and I'm definitely looking forward to the future of this. So this is a project number 2, which I think has got some great news coming up, tied up with fundamentals. I'm a low price now. I think this is going to be a great project over the course of October and the rest of 2021 going ahead into the future. And last but not least is MULTIVAC, which is ticker MTV. This is the daily time frame. It is on KuCoin, so it's very easily accessible. And as you can see, I've got a Fibonacci set up here from one of the previous videos I did. We obviously had that impulse move wave up from here, all the way up to that all-time high there at 2.5 cent. I believe, yeah, 2.5 cent was all-time high. And then we got a rejection. I was looking for buys around 1.4 cent, which we've pretty much double tapped on the 618. And I pushed to the upside. For me, this is a great project, which is, I mean, it solves a lot of the scalability issues across the crypto space. I mean, so many blockchains are congestion now with low TPS. This TPS is outstanding. It's a sharding blockchain. It is a multi-chain. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to get your head around. So I do suggest, if you want to look at a project which I think is massively undervalued, take a look at this one. Have a look at some project reviews. There's one of my webs on my YouTube, I believe. So if not, I will go ahead and do one for you guys. If you want that, drop it in the comments. But for me, I think it's massively undervalued. It is a staking coin as well, so you can earn a passive income from it. And like I say, we're only valued at 2 cent currently. I put a tweet out earlier on saying anything under 2 cent or 2 cent below is a solid investment. But let's just have a look at this in time move here. What did we hit in terms of fibs from that bottom to the top? We lost that 618 level and pushed up, and we're currently set on that 382 level. But for me, I'm looking at buy zones here, and I mean, you can go, I mean, how low do you go? I could go right down to the hourly time frame and have a look at some regions from here. But for me, we're sat on 2 cent here, and for me, that is the area where I will be buying as much as I can. I think it's going to flip to support here, to be honest. I think we're going to push to the upside very soon. The market's looking very well. A couple of things just to monitor if we go back to the daily time frame. Money flow is in positive territory. The RSI there was oversold, as you can see here. Sorry, overbought, and we did drop to this downside. We come up here to that top, was slightly oversold up at around 69-70%, and then dropped. We're around mid-ground now at 54%. So in terms of RSI, we've got a lot of room to grow. So for me, if you're looking for buys, I would place them at 2 cent, and this fundamentally is a strong asset, which I think can beat a lot of other chains in terms of speed and scalability. The networks across crypto are congested, and this massively sorts it out. And I've been looking at this for a while. Steve in my Telegram group, was one of my admins, mentioned it to me a few months back. I bought some, and I think we're already up about 100%. And I've been DCAing into this. Every time I've got a bit of spare funds, I've been dropping them in, and anything under 2 cent is a great level. You might think, all right, well, it's come from nowhere. It's already been down at 0.003. This is starting to get noticed now, and in my opinion, it is such a solid asset, and going in towards this quarter, I think it will be great. In terms of price predictions, short term, I mean, where do we go? I mean, if we look at the entire move from this top here, and let's see if we've hit any of those levels so far. So that's the top, that's the bottom. We've obviously done that retracement. if you're looking for a few key levels to look at targeting over this next 3 months, we have look at this 3.9 cent, 4.5 cent, 5.9 cent, and 7.9 cent, and we've got one at 11 cent. In my opinion, I think we will at least hit 11 cent. I think there's a lot of growth for this project coming. Close to 3 billion of the tokens are locked into staking as well, so that's a bullish factor. That's 450% up to 11 cent. And I think that is just for starters. I think we'll be looking back at some point towards the beginning of next year thinking, damn, why didn't I manage to get some of this at 2 cent? Like Andy said, 11 cent could be that area where people thinking, right, I wish I bought at 11 cent at some stage. And I think this, like I say, is a great asset to buy. So that's 3 assets which I believe will perform well over the course of the next 3 months, given the facts of fundamentals and the overall market cycle, which I believe is still bullish and will pick up towards the start of October, going in towards the end of this quarter. That's going to do it. If you are new to this channel, please make sure that you are subscribed, hit that like button, and I'll catch you next time.